Luffy is about to get gangbanged by the Gorosei. Even with Gear 5, there's no way he can take on 5 guys at once. That's something only the twink Sanji could manage to pull off. As we edge towards the ending of Egghead, we're left wondering, how will Luffy fend off the Gorosei and make his escape? More importantly, how will Luffy defeat them in the future? So in this video, I'll be going over the 3 reasons why the Gorosei are a huge girthy problem and what Luffy can do to defeat them in the final saga. Alright, the Gorosei. There's 5 of them. They're all old and slightly gilfy. And our first big problem is that they all have awakened mythical Zoan devil fruits. Even until the Wano arc, it was kind of a rarity for someone to have a mythical Zoan devil fruit. Almost as rare as Smoker taking a W. But now that the Gorosei have pulled up, we just got introduced to 5 new awakened Zoans. And each one of them goes crazy. Let's take a look at the lineup. We got a Spidereal cow, a dinosaur bird, a Tuscan boar, a fleshlight looking sandworm, and a Skeletor horse. You know, saying those out loud doesn't seem so bad, but that's before you realize they're all gigantic. Look at Luffy compared to them. He looks like an insect, which is actually how Saint Saturn described all humans, as insects that he could step on. It's a good thing that Sanji's not the one fighting them because he loves getting stepped on, especially by Nico Robin's giant foot. Now since they're all awakened, they each have unique abilities. For example, Saturn has venom coated spikes, the ability to immobilize enemies, and eye-deafing characters like Sanji. Had my boy doing the fucking Nika dance after one look. Saturn has also been shown to pop off heads of any characters that are below the strength of a Vice Admiral. I have a feeling that this ability is more due to his insane Conqueror's Haki than his Devil Fruit, which is problematic because that means other Goroseis can do this as well. This isn't too bad for top tier characters like Luffy and Zoro, since they can use their Conqueror Haki to defend themselves. But for characters without Conqueror's Haki, they're gonna end up getting their head popped like a watermelon between Big Mom's thighs. The other elders are no slouch either. In fact, they all seem stronger than Saturn. For example, Saint Mercury can unleash extremely loud moans that are infused with Conqueror's Haki. I call that the Aurora Borealis, cause the intense red lightning is gonna leave you looking at some stars. But my favorite special attack would have to come from Saint Jupiter in his sandworm form. Dude was able to suck up the entire battleground. Even Dory and Broggy got the soul sucked out of them. Not only were they unable to move, but they commended Jupiter on his amazing head game. Lucky for our giants, Luffy threw a giant building into Jupiter's mouth to keep him at bay. All I gotta say is Luffy is a better man than me, cause if I was there, I'd use Gear 5 to turn into a giant and violate that sandworm like it was Sandy Cheeks. The crazy thing is, we don't even know if this is the full extent to their power. We haven't even seen some members, like Saint Venus, use his powers at all. Venus has been casually speed blitzing the Pacifista and swinging around his cursed blade like he swings around his horse cock. If I'm being honest, their special abilities are the least of my concern. I mean, Luffy has gone up against the world's strongest creature and even a literal god and come out on top. He'll always find a way to counter his opponents or get stronger to deal with their attacks. For Egghead in particular, he may just need Bonnie to age him up to his prime so he can have even stronger Haki and better control of Gear 5th. But that all might not matter because the Gorosei don't stay down, which brings me to problem number 2. They can regenerate faster than you guys can call me a degenerate in the comments. From turning the Gorosei into pizza to just straight up fisting them, Luffy's attacks haven't done any lasting damage to the Gorosei. Saturn even got his arm torn off by Kuma and grew it back faster than Sanji growing a third leg for younger Bonnie this arc. If I had to guess, I'd say their healing factor comes from them undergoing the immortal life surgery. To make matters worse, the Gorosei can keep regenerating, but Luffy has a time limit on his Gear 5, so they're always gonna outlast him. Now, there is a glimmer of hope we still have. The scars that they don show us that it's possible to damage them, most likely with advanced cock Haki, but we can't confirm this cause Luffy hasn't used any advanced cock attacks on the Gorosei. Why not? I have no fucking idea. You'd think that after mastering this ability against Kaido, he'd use it in fighting against other strong opponents. The only way that I can rationalize this is that Luffy doesn't see them as an equal threat to Kaido. I mean, Luffy lost to Kaido thrice and died the last time. Whereas he's been clapping the Gorosei together like my balls are clapping against St. Jupiter's chin when I test out that sandworm suction. I fear that the only way Luffy will use ACOG is if someone dies. And that's a very likely possibility since Vegapunk is sadly on his last lifeline. I don't know about you guys, but Vegapunk has become one of my favorite characters this arc. And I really don't want that fucking necrophiliac Sanji to have his way with our beloved doctor. I know that perverted cook is already thinking about exploring the new hole Kizaru gave Vegapunk. Okay, so far, Luffy can counter their special attacks and has a potential solution to their regeneration. But that brings me to problem number 3. The other 4 members of the Gorosei can show up
whenever, wherever.
One member is already there, which means you're never just gonna fight one. It's always gonna be a Goro bang. We also know that they can communicate telepathically with each other. I wonder if it's like having a group chat. Like you have the main chat with the 5 elders and then a smaller chat of 3 members, and they talk shit about the other 2. I wouldn't put it past them. They seem like a toxic friend group. And plus, if they couldn't control who they shared their thoughts to, they'd all feel the agony of me testing out St. Jupiter's suction like he was one of those sucking holes in the pool. Anyways, having 5 strong members to deal with won't be a problem as long as Luffy comes prepared. But unfortunately, our latex captain is notorious for wandering around and ditching the group. And if it's a 1v5, there's no version of Luffy that's beating all of them. So in order to beat these goons and get to the endgame villain Aimu, he needs a squad he can depend on. For his other 4 companions, give me Zoro, who will fight Saint Venus, swordsman versus swordsman. Give me Jinbei for Saint Mars, fish versus bird, the bestiality bros. Give me Monkey D. Dragon versus Mercury, the god of justice versus the god of doing absolutely nothing. And give me Sanji to enjoy the sloppy seconds of what remains of Saint Jupiter after I'm done with him. Luffy can defeat Saint Saturn and defeat him himself if he doesn't do so already by the end of Egghead. Overall, this is going to be a tough battle. Luffy is going to need to pull out everything in his book from Gear 5, ACOG, and most importantly, the power of friendship to defeat the Gorosei. I hope you enjoyed this video and comment below if you think Vegapunk or one of the 5 elders will die before the end of Egghead. Be sure to subscribe to the ideology that One Piece is peak fiction, and we can follow that belief together once you subscribe for more One Piece and anime content. Bye bye!